this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 dangers of manifesting from the ego, and I'm going to show you how to bypass that so that you don't experience the negative effects of it. Welcome back to another video. My name's Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you those 3 dangers of manifesting from the ego, how to transcend it so that you create from a more powerful place and you don't experience those negative effects. So this is something that honestly is not talked about very often in the law of attraction community. And it's because one of the biggest desires we have is to control everything. To have this ability to intend for something to happen and then to experience the benefit of it or the result of it. Now, something that I've learned in the process of my journey of learning manifestation, of teaching it on YouTube, of me becoming successful at what I do, and living in a totally new level of abundance. The whole process, if you look back on my videos in the very beginning, a year and a half ago, when I was making videos, it was on action, taking a lot of action. And the reason it was is because I noticed that a lot of people simply weren't taking any action, so therefore, it was the missing key that I saw for so many people that were coming to me. They're like, I'm not getting results, what I do. Plus, I was so rewarded for taking massive action, and it's worked for me. And even to this day, I still take a lot of action, but I love what I do. So my intention with a lot of my videos is to bring in this understanding of connecting to our heart, connecting to an emotion, to where we're able to bring action with emotion, the combination of the two. And something that I've learned in the process is that action is important, but what else is important is the emotion underneath the action and living as if it is already accomplished, so almost coming at it from the frame that our cup is already whole and complete. Many times when we manifest from the ego, what we are doing is we are coming at it from a frame that I don't already feel whole and complete, but maybe if I get it, because my ego wants it, maybe if I get it, then I will feel whole and complete. But guess what? This is a never-ending cycle. You would think on YouTube, for example, that when you get to 100,000 subscribers, that it's like this euphorically blissful feeling, and that when you walk around in the public, everyone comes up to you, and they want your autograph, they're trying to take pictures with you everywhere you go. That's the mentality in the mind. That's what the ego thinks. But the actuality is that once you get to 100,000 subs, guess what? You're looking at 100, you're going, what about 200? What about 300? What about 4? It's always a never-ending cycle. It is never enough for the ego because the ego always wants more. Here's the trick though. The trick is, if you feel satisfied already with whatever you do have, subscriber thing is just a metaphor. If you feel already satisfied with what you have, you will actually achieve your goals faster, because you are coming at it from the emotion of satisfaction, of already being happy. You can desire and intend for quote-unquote more, but don't fall into the trap of that egoic type way of thinking, of always needing more, because in the needing more, you normally create resistance, because that needing more is saying I'm not already whole and complete. Therefore, we emphasize vibrationally that we don't currently have that which we want. So the first danger of the ego manifestation process, of the ego manifesting things, is that it is never enough. You will never get to that end result from a place of lack and from having an empty cup. And you can't even give anything to anyone else unless you already have that. So the key is paying attention to how you feel in the process and to identifying what is the desire of the ego and what is the desire of the heart. What is the desire of the soul? One thing that I really intend for with the videos that I make is that helping people to connect the head to the heart. I'm not saying the head, you just completely let it go. I'm not saying not fulfill any of your egoic desires. Be aware of the ego, but do not identify 100% with it. Be like, oh yeah, is this something that I want, or is this something that my ego wants? And what is the pure intention behind it? Now, maybe you've heard me talk about this before as well. I believe that in a way, the universe starts to manifest more for us when we start to have this intention of adding value to other people. When we have this intention to add value to other people, we tap into more of our heart energy, but also, in a way, this is about understanding who we are at a deeper level. Because in the same way that I might say I'm an individual person, and this is my experience of creating my own reality, collectively we create our reality together as well. This is things that happen in the collective consciousness. This is big events. This is who wins the presidency. That was decided upon at a collective level. Even if we were to say, oh, it's rigged or whatever, I know there's people that say that. At a collective level, though, it was agreed upon. Maybe subconsciously, we're not even aware of it. Collectively, we create our own reality, just like individually we create our own reality. Collectively, when we have an intention of adding value to other people, call that like the system, the universe, we're also adding value to the whole system itself, to the whole universe. So therefore, it's almost like the universe wants to flow through us, because we're not just going about it for ourselves, we're also adding value to other people. So this is something that I've talked about in a couple prior videos, and it's something that I personally really believe in. I believe the more value I add to other people, the more I have a pure intention. And by pure intention, it doesn't mean that I'm void of my ego. It doesn't mean that my ego is not there. It doesn't mean that I'm some saint sitting on top of a mountain that's just pure. What it means, though, is I'm aware of the ego. I'm aware that there's this desire to grow and to get the message out there. But at the same time, I'm combining it with this intention to add value to other people, because the more value I add to other people, it's almost like the more the energy wants to go towards me, because I'm going to use it for good. I'm going to use it in a way that adds value to the system, the whole, rather than just myself. So the first danger is that our ego never has enough. And that we end or we continue a cycle of always feeling not enough. And there's people like this. There's people with multiple tens of millions of dollars in their bank account, very successful people, that still never feel enough. And that is a trap. And they're always wanting more. And there's progress. I mean, part of progress and satisfaction is progress, but it's the way we go about it. Are we identifying with the ego and believing in its trap of, oh, when I achieve this, then I will feel this? The truth is you can feel whatever emotion you want by choosing to feel it. It's just in our mind we say, I will give myself permission to feel a certain way. And then when we achieve something, we give ourselves permission to release the dopamine and the serotonin. It's a funny idea, but it's the way it works. Instead, feel that dopamine and serotonin right now by choosing, saying, you know what, I'm already whole and complete. People say, oh, when I get into this relationship, I'm going to feel whole and complete. But then they attract someone that's not whole and complete as well. It's almost like they attract somebody that also is looking for someone else that's whole and complete, and it creates not a co-independent relationship. It creates something that's dependent on each other, which then, of course, there's a lot of stuff that comes with that. Now, the second danger of manifesting from the ego is that you create a chaotic experience because the ego thinks it has to do everything. This is what I've had to learn, because my ego, I was rewarded for taking so much action with a YouTube channel that grew very fast, with a lot of abundance that came in very fast. But thinking that it was just my ego that did it is what would cause me to inflate myself and to think that I'm always doing everything as the ego. Take on more than I need. The truth is, I can allow more and I can let go. Otherwise, I run myself to the ground. I work too hard. I create resistance. So imagine manifestation as a river, as a flow of energy. And this is a fast-moving river. And it's going to take you to where you need to go if you allow it to and you go with the stream. It's kind of like the Abraham Hicks analogy. And you're going with the stream, but see, this is what happened. Sometimes our ego gets in check, our ego comes into play, and it says, I need to figure out where to go. And it's imagine you're in a boat in it, and in this boat, you're frivolously trying to paddle in a different direction, or you're trying to paddle and hang on to these branches and stuff that are close by because you think you know what has to happen. When in general, if you just go with the flow of things, it takes you exactly where you need to go. You see, many times that's what happens with the ego. Is the ego thinks that it's the captain of the boat and it has to frivolously do everything when we can trust the process of manifestation. The river is going to take you to where you need to go. Just the ego thinks there's a waterfall at the end of it and you're just going to die. But that's not true. And if you trust the process, you won't shift to the stream that takes you to that waterfall. It's about knowing that you can trust the process as well. I remember I went to a life retreat place in Costa Rica. I was there for a week. Did this breath workshop, learned how to this breath workshop, brought in all this oxygen in my body and let go of a whole bunch of emotion that was stored in there from my childhood. And I let go of a lot of negative resistance. But the message I got through that whole week, let go. Let go. Things don't have to be as hard as you think they need to be. Let go. Allow. Trust. Let go. That made things so much easier. If I didn't hear that, if I didn't get that message, who knows? Maybe I'd be creating so much more resistance. Wherever we create resistance, we create more and more problems that are reflected of that. So this is about having the awareness that we don't have to try so hard. We can more so allow these things to happen. That this whole creating your own reality thing sounds very great to the ego. However, what I'm learning is that there's this higher perspective of manifestation. This higher perspective of manifestation is where we align our head to our heart, where we trust things to happen, and where we understand that we are not just the ego. We don't have to create our reality, we simply have to choose it. Because, from a quantum physics point of view, there's an infinite number of parallel realities that exist, and the reality we want to create already exists. So this is more about choosing it from a place of awareness. And in the choosing of it, we don't have to identify with it, and we don't have to impose all of this energy on it, and trying, and all of this resistance. So let go. Let it be easy, and as you let it be easy, you'll find that things happen even easier for you. The third danger of manifesting from the ego is that the ego creates so much rigidity, thinking that the ego knows everything, that we end up putting ourselves into a little box. This little box of what we think we can do, and we get it confused as to what the job of the ego is. The job of the ego is not to control everything or to control reality. The job of the ego is to focus in a certain direction and to align with the heart space, to align with the passion. Because you see, there's this, let me use this analogy. Lots of analogies in this video. Second analogy, a lot. What we do is imagine that our higher self is on a mountaintop. This higher self is a more expanded view of who we are. When we go to bed at night, we wake up as our higher self. And that is who we are, but we don't remember it when we wake up in the morning because we simply don't have the reference experiences to remember that. We can only remember things that our brain can interpret. So we get these symbols. Oh, I was in my dream last night and this is what happened with this coworker or whatever. But that is simply a symbolic representation of something we can learn, something from the subconscious mind. In actuality, our natural state of being is unconditional love and bliss. That's a higher level of consciousness. That is who we really are. We're simply dreaming. When we wake up in the morning, we say, this is who I am. What's really happening is we're waking up in this dream, and we went to sleep from a higher level of consciousness. Now, we're still connected. That higher level of consciousness is our higher self, which we're always connected to. It's about being in alignment with that, and the way that we become in alignment with our higher self is by following our passion. Now, our higher self is on the top of a mountain, and our ego self is in a valley. The higher self is on top and can see the obstacles of the ego. And the higher self will broadcast a frequency that the ego can connect to. And that frequency is passion, excitement. And then the ego can go up the mountain, and sometimes it won't logically make sense. There may be some type of, it looks and appears that this is a better route to take. But you see, the higher self can look and see that the route eventually dead ends, and you're going to have to go back. So if you would just simply follow the guidance of the higher self, which is the vibrational frequency of excitement, then you would get up the mountain even quicker. You would enjoy the process even more, and things would happen even easier. But sometimes the ego knows everything. The ego's in the valley. It's like, that looks like the best way to go. This excitement thing, it's not going to get me there that fast. There's this route right over here. It looks even quicker. Then you start going on the route and you realize that there's this cliff and there's no way to get over and you got to go back. But instead, you can trust the higher self. But when we identify just with the ego, we identify with our little self, and we keep ourselves into a metaphorical box. We create rigidity. We think that we know everything. And that's where a lot of resistance is created. Resistance is created from trying to control, from thinking we know, and from that perspective, we put ourselves into a box, and we then a lot of times have experiences that are even blind to us. This is the other thing I wanted to talk about. So, we can only experience that which we believe to be true, and we can only experience that which we are the vibration of. There may be times, there are opportunities in your life that could be things that could absolutely change your life, could be the answers to everything you want to manifest, but maybe you simply don't view it, you can't see it, because you're not the same vibrational resonance of it. Because the ego is like, that's not a way to my manifestation, that's not a way. We're not interpreting things as we choose it. If you do this little thing right here, it will change your whole life. Treat every situation in your life as if you chose it, and then things will happen so much easier. Because anytime something happens that we think is not part of our manifestation, something happens, we say, oh, that's not supposed to be there. The moment we say that is not supposed to be there, we lower our state of being, we let go of our excitement, and then we shift ourselves to a life track, a parallel reality that is less reflective of what we want. But if every time we assume that something is meant to be there, our state goes up, our state goes up, our state goes up, our state just continues to go up. So the key is in the interpretation of the events that are happening. But if we have a certain blueprint out of our mind of how things can happen or should happen, then we may be blinding and blocking out all of these other things, creating blind spots for ourselves because we think that, nope, it can't come through in that way. We assume that, oh, I want to attract a certain level of abundance in my life. If we think it can only come through with money, money is the only way that it can come through, then there could be someone that comes up to us and is like, hey, I have this great opportunity. This is something I think you would love. And you're like, nope, it's not money. I don't want it. When it could be an opportunity that could lead you to the next best thing that could get you that opportunity to make a whole bunch of abundance. But you see, the ego is I'm just focused on the money. That's what I want to create in my life. But then an opportunity comes in, we're blinded by it because we limit ourselves because we know it all. We know how everything should happen. So the key to this whole process, really, is letting go of the ego. Observe your thoughts from a neutral place. Understand you can focus in a certain direction, but don't get caught up in the trap of the ego. Don't get caught up of, when I accomplish X, Y, Z, then I will feel happy. Instead, no, you can feel whole and complete right now, and by feeling whole and complete right now, your goals will manifest faster than ever. Understand that you can let go of the outcome. You can let go from thinking that you have to do everything. You can understand that you can stop trying to frivolously paddle everywhere that you go. You can instead just let the river carry you. You don't have to create your own reality. You simply have to choose it from a space of awareness. And that as you do that, things will happen even easier for you. You won't have these blind spots. You'll be able to see opportunities in your life that are more reflective of who you prefer and how you prefer to be. So this is an easier process. This is taking the law of attraction to the next level. This is really combining Eastern philosophy of letting go of who we are at a soul level with that of manifestation and the law of attraction. I think it is so powerful, and I think if you apply it, it will change your life. Now, another thing I'll be doing is more live Q&As on Instagram. So if you would like more live interaction with me, ask me questions, ask my ego questions if you would like that. If you would like to inflate my ego because then I feel so much more validated, then you'll see the Instagram link right here. So, but for real talk, I do answer a lot of questions there, and I do interact and post daily content there as well. So, Instagram right there. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little notification gear next to the subscribe button so that you can see the daily vids that I do. That's the way YouTube does it. You actually have to hit that button to see the daily vids. Got a lot more good stuff coming. And other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.